Hello, dear listeners. See, I want to show you something today. You see, before you start any war, before you start any conflict, you have to sit down and count your gain, count your losses before you start it. I want to show you something today. The war between Hamas and Israel. We are going to look at the gain and the losses between October 2023 to February 2025. You can see to yourself what these two people or two groups stand to gain or lose in this between this period, only this period. So just come with me as I go through this process. Alright, so let's see what the Israelis, suffer in the course of this conflict. Number one, over 1,200 Israelis were killed as a result of that coordinated attack on October 7, 2023. Over 5,500 people, again, were wounded. Alright, we counted this as a loss because maybe some of them were disabled, injured, leg cut, and all of that. So it's a loss to the nation of Israel. Of course, about 240 people were taken hostage by Hamas. Do you understand? And some of them, in the course of the period, died. Some died. Do you understand? And then over 500 IDF soldiers, that is Israelis trained military officers, were also killed in the course of their operation in Gaza trips. Do you understand? So over $50 billion have been estimated as what Israel as a nation spent on executing this war. Over $50 billion. This is what the nation spent on trying to defend itself as a result of war. Over 10,000 Israelis displaced. I get a point now. They were displaced from those that were close to Gaza strips and those that were bordering Lebanon. All of them were displaced as a result of the operation at the border area. These people were displaced. This is what Israel as a nation loses as a result of the war. Let's look at what the Palestinians, suffered as a result of this war. We counted it as Hamas. Hamas is being considered as a terrorist group that operates in Palestine. Do you understand? So you put it as Palestine or you put it as Hamas, but it's all the same thing. Their losses. So let's look at what they lose in the course of time. This period that we are covering here. Over 43,000 people. Palestinians. That's why I was talking about. I didn't say Hamas only because it's a Palestine. Over 43,000 Palestinians killed. 16,000 of them were children. 16,000. Those children could have been grown to become leaders that will create a real change for the nation, but they were taken as a result of the conflict. Over 10,000 people injured. The number can be more than that. You understand? If we take statistical analysis of the situation, we discover the number is even more than that. And this death that we'll talk about here now, over 43,000, is as a result of those that died as a result of the war, the fight, bullets, being killed by bullets. What about those that died as a result of malnutrition? Those that were sick, those that died as a result of maybe malnutrition, alright? Malnutrition. There were some people that may die as a result of malnutrition. Some may die as a result of the fact that they have terminal sicknesses that we're managing, and then those people can die. Sicknesses, So many things that have happened. Do you understand? So these people died. And so it's possible that the number is more than 43,000. You understand? 43,000. And then over 1,000 Hamas fighters also were killed. You understand? These are the people that said they were fighting for their freedom. They were killed. Their leaders killed. So their leaders also were killed. So these are the issues. Then we go forward to see that over 70% of Gaza's infrastructure destroyed. When we are talking about Gaza infrastructure here, we are talking about schools, hospitals, roads, all of those were destroyed. You understand? Then, of course, this very war also cost about 1.9 million people out of 2.3 million population displaced. You can imagine a population of 2.3 million. Out of it, 1.9 million people displaced. Making a point now. So you can see the kind of suffering these people were going through. You can see the level of humanitarian crisis that was happening in Gaza. And then we'll talk about destruction of weapons, tunnels, and command centers. These are military centers that the Hamas as the military group used to operate. Alright? All all of those were destroyed by the Israeli soldiers. They destroyed them. Right? Then we'll talk about shortage of food supplies, water and electricity was also, in short supplies because of the war. And you see, there was high level of humanitarian crisis as a result of this conflict. About $80 billion is needed to rebuild Gaza. You can see that if we can take this 80 billion, you can imagine the level of development that would have happened in that place added to what was on ground. As mean we have to bring 80 billion fresh investment in that place. You can imagine what we achieve as a people in that place. But you see, this thing, we are going to use this money to just rebuild. And the rebuilding, it's possible that this money may not even be enough. Do you understand? It may not be enough. So this is what these people loses in the course of this conflict. So if we put it in terms of comparison now with what the Israelis lost, who is bearing the worst of it? You understand? So whenever you want to start war, sit and count your gain and your losses before you start. Let's look at what we consider as gain in this war that we are talking about here now. Right? Let's look at it. Let's look at what we consider as gain. Right? Look at the Israel gain. Let's look at the top Hamas leaders were eliminated. Most of those Hamas leaders are used to the top, make noise. Most of them were eliminated. Top one, do you understand? Their top commanders were eliminated. So we counted this as a gain to the Israel nation. And then we'll talk about Hamas infrastructure and weapons were also destroyed. Alright, those their tunnels, those their weapon stock that was stockpiles, and those their centers that they used to hide and do operations were destroyed. This is what we're talking about. Then over 80 hostages rescued. We told you that over 240 were taken hostage, and about 80 were rescued through military operation or humanitarian assistance or through negotiation. Do you understand? And then with this ceasefire that was signed, many people were rescued. All right. And then Israel as a nation received support from UK, EU, and USA. They were supporting them both in cash, in weapons. Do you understand? And so they were able to defend themselves. See the kind of support they received. And they increased defense funding because they received money from UK, from America, all of that. And so they were able to have money because we told you that over $50 billion were spent on defending or fighting, executing the war. Do you understand? So this was counted as a gain to them, all right? Because they were able to build new defense, new weapons, all right? And those their drones, do you understand, that they used to intercept missiles? So they built a number of them as a result of the budget that they received, the support. What about the Hamas? What is the gain in this place? Let's look at it. Over 5,000 rockets launched. Is it that what we consider as a gain? Was this the objective of this fight? The fight for this objective, for this particular war, was gain freedom from Israel. It was to see that they are being, considered as a nation, an independent nation. Was that achieved? No. See, this is what is counted as a gain. Is this a gain? How many people died as a result of this? But 45,000 or over 43,000 people were killed, Palestinians, compared to 1,200 Israelis and maybe 500 soldiers that were killed. Does this really make sense? But this is counted as a gain. Used hostages to bargain the release of 600 Palestinian prisoners. Alright, because of the ceasefire deal that was signed, they were able to release about how many people? Over 600 Palestinians released from prison. So this is considered as a gain to them, all right? What is it? Considered as a gain. Then support from Iran, Hezbollah, and some Arab nations. Yes, of course, but you see, this one was also even termed as a terrorist organization. And you see, as a result of them, you can see what Lebanon also is suffering as a result of their operation, trying to support Hamas. Some of their leaders were also killed trying to support Hamas. Iran also suffered some consequences, by trying to support Hamas. And what about some Arab nations? Some of them suffer. Some of them even distance themselves. Do you understand? They refuse to get involved. So if we look at this war now in real essence, does this war benefit the people of Palestine? No. It maybe benefited some few Hamas leaders who were getting some money and then getting themselves rich, because some of them were not even in Gaza to carry out this operation. They were somewhere while their foot soldiers were operating. Do you understand? And some of them were killed. The other one was killed in Iran. So if we look at all of this, indeed, if they are considered as freedom fighters, consider this period on, and you consider this war as beneficial to the people of Palestine. When when you compare it to what Israel as a nation achieved. So it's left for you to determine whether it was actually a gain for the Palestinians or a gain for the Israelis. But whichever way, whenever we want to start war, whether it's a family war, whether it's a land dispute, whether it's a political crisis, any form of conflict, whenever you want to start it, sit and count your gain and your losses before you start. Otherwise, at the end of it all, you end up regretting. So for me, I think it was not worth anything, because over 45,000 people that died, or 43,000 that died, they could have caused a real change than what they have suffered. And at the end of the day, nothing to show for over 43,000 lives that are lost. Nothing. Do you understand? So it's better to sit and count your costs and your gain before you start any war. But in whatever way, always know that the cost of peace is cheaper than the cost of war. So don't fight any war. Next one, we are going to bring you analysis concerning the war between Russia and Ukraine, so that you understand what Ukraine suffered in the course of the war and what Russia suffered or gained in the course of the war. Right? If you want to become a certified conflict analyst, join the Institute of Global Peace and Conflict Management to become a certified conflict analyst. Then you get training on how to carry out such kind of analysis. Thank you very much.